Hello, everyone. Just want to give a quick message, really to touch on chapter 9. We're moving into well into week 6, and we're headed to the home stretch. So I really want to say congratulations to everyone. Great work. Let's just keep moving forward. Let's keep the good work going. I've been in there today. I've seen a lot of great initial posts. I put in some questions. Make sure you respond, dig deep, and get those responses out. Um, I did see an answer. Actually, Bobby, he posted a answer for, I think it was question 3, and he put up a formula. So I wanted to take a few minutes and go over just a key point in chapter 9 when we're looking at time value of money. So it'll be really quick. Just want to touch on a quick item on chapter 9. Again, remember the quiz is open right now, as well as continue with the discussion. Right after the quiz, we're going to have the final exam, so look for that, and we'll have our final collaborate session. So that's going to be great. A lot of fun there. All right, let's go on to this point I wanted to cover on chapter 9. Chapter 9, we're actually looking at the time value of money. So the outline for the chapter is we're looking at time value associated with money, looking at the future values of money at a given interest rate, looking at present values, and then we're getting yields on investments, and then looking at discounting and then compounding, right, at an annual basis, right? The relationship with capital outlay, right? You use time value really to as a guide to find out whether it justifies using cash at this time, right? So it helps you, it really helps management, helps you with financial decisions, cash management. Now, there's tools that actually help with calculating the future value, present value. But what I wanted to show you was there's a way you can manually calculate. So here's an example. We've got $1,000. We're looking at a time period of 4 years at 10% interest per year. So the annual rate is 10%. We're trying to get that value of that $1,000 after 4 years at a 10% interest rate. So what we're going to look at is compounding. So after the first year, that $1,000 is going to increase by what? 10%. So then we've got that 10% added to the principal. So when we calculate the next year, that new amount is going to compound at 10%, and so on and so on. So let's take a look at it. So the first year, we've got the $1,000 times 1.10. So that's a way of simply multiplying in that 10% of interest that we're receiving. So we wind up the first year with $1,100. Second year, again, we're calculating in that interest. So that interest becomes the principal. So in year 2, we've got $1,100. We're multiplying that by that 1.10. We get $1,210. That interest becomes our principal. So then we move it along year 3, we've got $1,210 times 1.10. We've got $1,331. And then the interest becomes a principal. And then finally, in the last year, we've got the $1,331 times the 1.10. And then we get the final figure of $1,464. So again, key point when you're looking at this is compounding, because that interest is being added to the principal. So that increases our base, Therefore, that's increasing the amount that we're working with moving forward in that future time period. Very good. So remember, we started out with 1,000, right? Started out with $1,000. We ended with $1,464. So we actually have $464 more than what we started with. That's almost $500. So we're almost looking at what, you know, $500, 50% increase there of what we originally started with. And that's all from keeping the interest and adding that interest into the principal. That's the power of compounding interest. Now, what I really wanted to dig in, and I want to thank Bobby for posting the formula, is really going over the bits and pieces of the formula, of the future value formula, just so I want to make sure that this makes sense. So, and we're going to see this throughout. So FV, of course, that stands for future value. PV, that stands for present value. Whenever you see I, and it's a small I, that's the interest rate. And then we've got that small n, that's the number of periods. So when we talk about periods, think time. So it could be years, months, quarters. It would be specified the time periods. Key point, when you see n, you're thinking time. Now, what we're doing at the very bottom, we're actually moving that case we were talking about on the last slide, where we had $1,000 for 4 years at a 10% interest rate per year. So the I, that small I, is at 10%. That 4 years is the N, right? And the present value is that $1,000. So we're trying to figure and use the formula to get the future value of that $1,000. And the great thing about this formula, instead of having to manually calculate this and go year by year by year, we can actually plug everything into the formula and actually easily get the answer. And for those of you who have financial calculators, it's even easier to plug all these items in and to get the answer for this. So let's break it down. Again, present value is $1,000. That small I for interest is 10%. The N is 4%. So when we plug everything in, we actually get the same amount. You know, one fell swoop, glides right through $1,464 is what we're able to figure by using that formula. So I just wanted to take a minute and actually touch on this, just to go over it, make sure everyone has a reference point when it comes to the terminology and breaking that down, because you're going to see future value, present value, you're going to see interest rate, you're going to see N throughout the chapter moving forward. Want to make sure you have a basis for that and understanding that terminology and how that comes into play, especially looking at compounding interest. As always, great work. Keep doing the great work. Keep moving forward. Again, we're at the home stretch. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Everyone's doing a great job. If you have any questions for me, again, you can reach me, text, email, voice. Be happy to help. I'm here to help. Otherwise, great work. We're almost, we're midway through this week, so I'm looking for the final posts and the answers to my questions. Thank you.